Update on the suspects accused of storming the Capitol on January 6th. Several of them had hearings today, but in many of those cases, not much progress was made. Larry Miller in the newsroom with more on this pattern that we've been seeing unfold today. Hey, Larry.
Hey, Adam. Good to see you. Well, the wheels of justice turned a bit slowly today as judges and magistrates at the U.S. District Court of the District of Columbia moved through several arraignments for people charged during the Capitol riots on January the 6th. Ethan Nordine, also named as Rufio Panman in court documents. Well, Nordine, along with Joseph Randall Biggs, were charged with 6 counts, including conspiracy, obstruction of an official proceeding, law enforcement and entering, and remaining in a restricted building or grounds. Now, 2 other defendants charged along with the 2 men were not in court because they're awaiting detention hearings. The judge told the prosecution and defense that he'd rather have all 4 defendants in front of him at one time. The parties agreed. The judge scheduled that next hearing for next week. Now, in a separate hearing, a judge ordered Jeffrey McKillop to remain in detention, citing that he's a danger to the community. The judge said that the evidence that the government provided showed the Army Special Forces soldier throwing a bottle and a flagpole to assault police officers met the burden of proof that McKillop should remain in custody. Adam?